Good afternoon to everyone. So in the morning class today, we started about the comparator as voltage limiter, and we discussed about comparator characteristics. Okay. So in this class, we will discuss about characteristics of the comparator and its limitations, and we will see the comparison of ideal comparator with respect to practical comparator, and we will go through the Schmitt trigger, Schmitt trigger, or regenerative circuit. Okay, Schmitt trigger circuit or regenerative circuit. It is a second application to the comparators. First application is zero crossing detector. Okay, second application is Schmitt trigger or regenerative circuit. Okay, so in morning class we discussed about the comparators as voltage limiters. Okay, we have seen inverting comparator with the positive and negative output voltage limiter, and we have seen the inverting op amp with the positive voltage limiting, and we also seen inverting comparator with the Zener diode feedback path. So you people asked some queries. I updated the presentation. We will discuss those queries and at the end of the session. Okay, and we discussed about comparator characteristics like accuracy, logic threshold. Okay, we discussed about the strobe function. We discussed about the strobe terminal, and we discussed about strobe current. Okay, and next we discussed about response time. Okay, positive output voltage, negative output voltage, and saturation voltages. So what is a voltage limiter means? Here we are applying the comparator as a voltage limiter. Voltage limiter is a device which converts in which the voltage in the voltage limiter concept. What happens means the output voltage is inverse. It is independent of input voltage. Okay, so we have seen with three types of classifications: the application of comparator with respect to voltage limiter, and next we discussed about comparator classification, accuracy, threshold, and the strobe functions, strobe terminals, strobe currents, and all. So before going into the before going into the ideal and practical comparator comparison of output waveforms, so let us discuss about the small subtopics. That is nothing but concept of latching. This concept of latching is nothing but its concept comes where at the testing of the operational amplifier. Okay, so some of the operators will have inbuilt latching circuit, latching response facility. That means what is meant by latching means, so we will receive a signal, active signal at the latch pin. Okay, so what is the input signal means the current output state of the comparator has to be frozen. Okay, current output stage, that means whatever it may be the output stage, the stage has to be frozen. That means even when we are showing a particular output voltage, that has to be frozen. That means this type of latching, this type of concept latching is helps us in the testing of the comparator circuits. That means this is nothing but a feature, or this is nothing but a command mostly used in analog to digital converters and microcomputing interfacing. Okay, so what is the application of this latching means, this latching is nothing but a command signal. Okay, we will send a command signal to the latch terminal. Okay, we will have an external latch terminal or internal latch terminal. Most of the comparators will have an internal latch terminal. In some of the comparator circuits we have external latch terminal. So at this particular latch terminal we will send a command. Okay, what is the command means? The output state of whatever it may be, the output state, the output state may be a positive saturation or the output state may be a negative saturation. That output state has to be frozen. Okay, that is the peculiarity of this command. That means we can hold the behavior of the output stage at a particular instant of time, for a specific instant of time, through this concept is called latching. Okay, on most of the times this latching point or this latching pin is connected to our null pin, seventh pin. When we observe the configuration of operational amplifier, our seventh pin is nothing but null connection pin. In testing conditions, we will connect the latch terminal to the seventh pin. Okay, in some of the applications of the comparators, we are using an external latching circuits. That means we are using an entire circuit for holding the output command for a specific instant of time. Okay, this is about the concept of latching. What is the concept of latching? Latching in the sense sending a command to the output of the comparator. Okay, we have to hold the output of the comparator up to a specific instant of time, whatever it may be the output. Either it may be output may be positive voltage saturation, the output may be negative voltage saturation. We can hold, that means we can freeze the output of the comparator Okay, using a particular latch flip-flop. Okay, we will use a flip-flop concept here for an instant of time. So that is called as concept of latching. So coming into the next one is limitations. Okay, we observed the behavior of voltage limiter as comparator. We observed the behavior of various characteristics of operational amplifier, and next we observed the concept of latching. So now we are discussing about limitations of comparator. What are the specific limitations of comparator? After observing various important characteristics like accuracy, response time, output positive voltage, output negative voltage, storm functions, storm currents and all. So considering various characteristics, analyzing various characteristics of the operational amplifier in our application of nonlinear application of comparators. So every comparator, each and every comparator should follow a certain parameters, so that the output of the comparator should be proper and the output and efficacy or efficiency of the temperature should be good. Okay, it should hold a particular good constraint, it should hold a particular good profile output voltage. So what is the parameters we have to hold means, so in order to maintain the accuracy of the comparator in a good manner, output the op amp should have high common mode rejection ratio. Okay, that means the op amp should have high common mode rejection ratio means the comparator here has to the comparator has to eliminate the common mode signal, and it has to take only differential signal as an input. That means it has to take the signal as an input, like input signal has to be compared with the reference signal, and that has to be taken as an input. Okay, and it should have high gain. Okay, so right, we are having the concept of open loop system. Open loop and comparator is used mostly in open loop condition, and comparator is used mostly in a positive feedback condition. At this condition of positive feedback and at this condition of open loop system of operational amplifier, usually the gain used to be very high. That is not a problem. And second most important thing is we have to use an input offset current of very negligible constraint. These input offset currents are in previously also we discussed about this concept of input offset currents. The behavior of input offset currents has to be negligible. Why means this input offset currents will eliminate the disturbances occurred in operational amplifier, particularly in our comparator. Okay, that has to be negligible, otherwise those will affect the output voltage. Okay, input offset currents and input offset voltages has to be negligible. And second most important thing is the response time. The output response time of the operational amplifier, which is our comparator, should be minimum. Okay, so if the response time of output response time is minimum means definitely the saturation values will be good, and it will be a saturation values, either it may be a positive saturation value or it may be a negative saturation value, will depend upon the particular input. Okay, so when we see this particular two parameters, one is a comparator, the comparator should have proper accuracy and it should have proper high CMRR, it should have a proper gain. Okay, so and we also discussed about the behavior of negligible offset currents and offset voltages, and it should have minimum response time. Okay, and there used to be a saturation value which has to be responded instantaneously with respect to inputs. Okay, and third most important thing is the output compatibility in the application of digital devices. Okay, so the output has to be output must be swing in between two logic levels. Okay, so how the output swings means, in the morning class we observed in the positive and negative voltage limiter, we observed there used to be an voltage swing. That is an important parameter. The output has to be swings in between positive saturation with respect to negative saturation. That means the output is varying in between two logic levels. Okay, in between two suitable logic levels, the voltage used to be the voltage is variable. Okay, so these are the limitations where we have to follow while constructing a particular operational amplifier as a comparator. It should have a proper accuracy, it should have high CMRR, it should have low offset currents and low offset voltages, it should have minimum response time. Okay, and the saturation levels, either it may be positive saturation or negative saturation, has to be respond with respect to instantaneous input. Okay, and the most important thing is the output voltage has to be swings in between positive saturation to negative saturation. So these are the limitations. So if we see the comparison of comparison of the comparator in ideal and as well as in practical condition. Okay, here we will see the behavior of comparator in both ideal condition and practical condition. We will compare both of them. First we will see the behavior of output voltages in an ideal condition, in a practical condition. Output transitions is also called as output voltages. The first parameter which we are going to see here is the output transition, behavior of output transitions of operational amplifier, in the sense behavior of output voltage of the operational amplifier. So let us see in an ideal output. See in this particular see in this particular segment, in this particular application, if we see clearly the output, okay, if the reference source is 0, so this type of output is very similar to our zero crossing detector. Okay, zero crossing detector is nothing but a square wave generator, a square wave generator. So whenever the input voltage crosses a particular 0th instant, okay, a square wave will be generated at a particular output. That is the principle of a zero crossing detector, which is one of the prime example of the comparator. Okay, so if we observe this particular output of the zero crossing detector, so this entire output waveform, input waveform with respect to output waveform, is exactly the case where we studied at the zero crossing detector. See, the input voltage, instantaneous input voltage or time varying input voltage is crossing with respect to the reference pulse, and it is going towards a positive peak. Okay, at that condition here we have a positive peak. Okay, and later at the negative peak, here we have a negative peak. So this is an ideal condition. This is an ideal condition. At an ideal condition where the input voltage of sinusoidal behavior, or the input voltage at the particular instantaneous behavior, or input voltage at a particular time varying behavior is applied to a comparator, what actually happens means the comparator with this sinusoidal input, compare that to a reference signal, zero reference signal, and it will generate a square waveform. It will generate a square waveform. This is an ideal condition. This is an ideal condition. But what actually happens in practical condition? See, in the aspect of practical condition, see what happens in the aspect of practical condition. In the aspect of practical condition, what happens? There used to be a transition in time. See, when compared to the ideal condition and practical output, the input is same. The input is same instantaneous value. The input is same sinusoidal value. The input is same. The input is same time varying signal, where the reference signal is also, reference voltage is 0 here, and the reference voltage is 0 here. Okay, the input behavior is same, but the behavior of output is quite different when compared to an ideal case. Okay, the practical case output is quite different with respect to the ideal case. Why means this occurs because of the behavior of slew rates. Okay, because of the slew rates, or because of the threshold operating frequencies, depending upon all other conditions which affects the behavior of output voltage in practical condition. Okay, in ideal condition the slew rate is very less. That is, mostly it is a slew rate of operational amplifier is around 0.5 volts, but in practical condition it varies from 0.7 volts to 0.5 volts to 0.5. It varies from 0.5 volts to 1.5 volts. 1.5 volts. That means not only the slew rate or the temperature drift or thermal drift or threshold voltages, these are all parameters will affect the output voltage. And well, at this instant of output voltage, because of these external effects of slew rates, temperature drifts, and threshold values, and whatever it may be the output parameters, here we can see there is a transition time, and the output is completely not square wave as compared to the ideal case. So here at this condition, or at this instant of discussion, we can clearly say that the output voltage in the ideal condition is not same as the output voltage of practical condition. Okay, there may be the effect of slew rate, there may be the effect of temperature drift or thermal drift, there may be the effect of threshold voltages and or other reference voltages will affect the practical output when compared to an ideal output. Okay, so that is the comparison. So if we see second comparison, that is slew rate. Okay, effect of slew rate. See the second comparison. Second comparison is the effect. Comparison is the effect of slew rate. Effect of slew rate on upper operating frequency. Upper operating frequency. That means in a practical output analysis, the actual waveforms will be exhibit a particular transition drifts here. This transmission line, this transition time is represented called as a transition drift. Transition drift in the output voltage in practical condition is happened when there is an a condition with high frequencies. Okay, this is quite noticeable. This type of condition in the practical output is noticeable when we operate the comparator at high frequencies, where the output switch times are comparatively longer when compared to input switch times. Okay, the switching of output in a higher frequency operations of a comparator are comparatively high when compared to this particular input period. So this makes the upper limit of the operating frequency depend upon the slew rate. Okay, at that condition what will happen is the upper limit of the operating frequency will depend upon the slew rate, and that slew rate causes this particular transition time. Okay, this type of operation, this type of transition time or this type of transition drift in the output waveform happens with respect to the behavior of the comparator when it is operated at high frequencies. Okay, at the instant of high frequencies there used to be a very severe switch time, even longer switch time when compared to this particular input time period, that causes this particular transition drift in the output waveform in the practical scenario. Okay, so how can we eliminate this type of transition drift? Means if we compensate the comparator by using an on-chip capacitor, and we have to stabilize the device from this possible, against all these possible odd oscillations. Okay, so what is the difference between a compensated device and uncompensated comparator? There is a difference between a compensating comparator and uncompensated comparator, or how can we compensate the comparator? Means, so mostly there are two types of comparators. One is compensated comparator and uncompensated comparator. Because of this uncompensated comparators, there used to be this type of transition drifts happen when we operate the comparator at high frequency conditions. So how can we compensate the comparator? Means by using an on-chip capacitor to stabilize the device again this all possible odd oscillations. We will put a limit to the particular slew rate. That means by placing a capacitor on board, okay, or by placing a capacitor on board, that is on-board capacitor is called as a on-chip capacitor. So this will stabilize the entire oscillations. And this will limit the particular oscillations and the slew rate. Okay, these oscillations and as well as slew rate will be eliminated. But if there is no compensation, means the slew rate will affect, okay, the slew rate and other parameters like temperature drift or thermal drift and other upper thresholds. These are all threshold frequencies. These are all will disrupt the behavior of output voltage. Okay, so what will be the behavior of slew rate? If we go through in detail, what will be the behavior of slew rate? Means in this particular comparator operation, okay, at this particular comparator operation, mostly we operate the comparator in open loop condition. Okay, some of the applications are there in positive feedback condition. Why we operate the comparator in a open loop condition? Means at the instant of open loop condition, okay, the gain value is infinite, it is maximum. We can see a particular saturation point of the gain value. Okay, so at this condition we don't need any particular frequency compensation. Okay, we studied the behavior of frequency compensation in our linear applications of operational amplifier, like dominant pole technique, pole zero method, okay, capacitor compensation. These are all types of various frequency compensations we studied in our linear applications. But in the behavior of open loop system, we don't use any feedbacks. In some of the applications also we used a positive feedback, but that doesn't mean we need a frequency compensation. Okay, so here these uncompensated op amps will have a better slew rate even though when compared to this particular frequency compensated complex. That means if the integrated circuit IC741, which is internally compensated with dominant pole technique and pole zero compensation, it have a slew rate of 0.5 volts per microsecond. It is very less amount of slew rate. When compared to an integrated circuit of uncompensated, it have 1.5 volts or it is having 15 volts per microsecond. So 15 volts per microsecond. So at this particular comparator applications, okay, at this particular comparator applications, we use IC301 for comparator applications, which is having a high slew rate. Okay. So and second important characteristic is our comparator compatible? Is our comparator compatible? So now up to now in our context, we discussed about the behavior of operational amplifier, and we observed the behavior at this particular operational amplifier. We have seen the transition time, or we have seen the transition drift, and next we have seen the behavior of slew rate. We have seen the behavior of slew rate and upper operating frequencies. Okay, high operating frequencies, but we are having proper high oscillations compared to input time period. And we discussed about how can we compensate the comparator by placing an on-chip capacitor, onboard capacitor. And next we discussed about the behavior of slew rate in compensation and uncompensated behavior of slew rate in frequency compensated integrated circuits and frequency compensated integrated circuits and uncompensated integrated circuits. We have chosen an uncompensated integrated circuit IC301, okay, for our applications of comparator. Okay, so last thing we are going to discuss in this context is our comparator compatible? Is our comparator compatible for various operations? Is the comparator compatible? Means there are various limitations are there when discussing about the compatibility of the comparator. Okay, the output of the comparator has to be generally not compatible. Output of the comparator is not generally compatible when compared to various families like transistor logic families, where the output ranges is from 0 volts to plus 5 volts. Okay, so in order to eliminate this particular compatibility problem, or to use a particular compatibility problem, what we are doing is we are using an additional components like Zener diodes. In the particular feedback circuits, we are using additional Zener diodes. This Zener diode will make the comparator more compatible, and we can see a proper output voltage swing. Okay, so in order to make our comparator, our operating comparator more compatible, okay, so we have to use a Zener diode on the particular on operation condition. Okay, so these are the behavior of comparator in behavior comparison of comparator in ideal cases or as well as in practical cases. Okay, so if we see next, we will discuss in our context, we will discuss about Schmitt trigger. Schmitt trigger is also known as a regenerative comparator circuit. Okay, so what is the purpose of Schmitt trigger? Means Schmitt trigger is the second most applications of operational amplifier. Second most application of operational amplifier was the first application is a zero crossing detector. There is some disadvantage with respect to zero crossing detector. The main disadvantage of zero crossing detector is it is not having good noise immunity system. That means the output of the zero crossing detector is having some heavy noise. That means some disturbance. Okay, so we have to design a particular application of the comparator which is having a strong noise immunity system, that is Schmitt trigger. And second thing is zero crossing detector is not operated at low frequency signals. Okay, it is not operated at low frequency signals. Okay, it is only limited to high frequency signals, but it is not operated to the application of low frequency signals. So in order to eliminate this type of drawbacks, we are proposing a new application of comparator, that is Schmitt trigger or regenerative comparator circuit. regenerative comparator circuit. So name in the self saying it's a regenerative comparator circuit, in the sense we are having a positive feedback here. So up to the discussion now, okay, we have seen a practical comparator circuit. Okay, we have zero crossing detector. Now we are seeing schematic trigger. Okay, up to discussion, we haven't come across the positive feedback. Okay, we have used the behavior of negative feedback in a voltage limiter, but we haven't gone through the application of a positive feedback up to this condition. Okay, this schematic trigger is an example, is an exact example of a regenerative comparator circuit. That's why we are explaining the circuit with the help of a positive feedback. Okay, so here we are using a positive feedback instead of negative feedback, so that helps the feedback voltage of the input, okay, instead of opposing it. So what actually happens with respect to the negative feedback? Negative feedback will oppose the sum of the input voltage, okay, and it will reduce some of the overall gain value of the operational amplifier, and it will increase the stability of the system, But here the main objective of comparator is to provide maximum amount of gain points. Saturation amount of output voltage has to be, saturation amount of output voltage has to be observed in order to create a proper high saturation output voltage. We are providing a positive feedback. See here in this particular schematic, we can see a positive feedback. A positive feedback is connected with respect to the non-inverting non-inverting terminal of the operational amplifier and V0. Okay, so this schematic trigger is a practical application with respect to the inverting terminal of the operational amplifier. Okay, this is an inverting comparator. That's why input supply is connected to the negative terminal of the operational amplifier, and the reference signal is connected with respect to the non-inverting terminal of the operational amplifier, that is positive terminal. And this is a regenerative comparator circuit. That's why we are providing regenerative comparator circuit. That's why we are providing a positive feedback. This positive feedback will positive feedback voltage will aids or adds with respect to the input voltage, okay, instead of opposing like negative feedback. Okay, so what are the drawbacks of zero crossing detector? Okay, noise immunity system has to be will be improved in the schematic trigger, and even in the low operating frequencies also the schematic trigger will be employable. Okay, so there are two types of schematic trigger. So the first schematic trigger we explained with respect to our cause is inverting schematic trigger. That's why the input voltage is connected to the non-inverting terminal of the operational amplifier. Okay, input voltage is connected to the inverting terminal of the operational amplifier, and the reference signal is connected with respect to the non-inverting terminal. Okay, so while explaining the inverting schematic trigger, so here we have two type of reference pulses. One is upper threshold voltage, and second reference pulse is lower threshold voltage. One is upper threshold voltage and lower threshold voltage. Okay, so what happens means we can see the behavior high and output behavior as high and low. Okay, high in the sense if the output is positive VSAT, the output is high, and if the output is of negative VSAT, the output is low. Okay, so at what conditions the output is high, at what conditions the output is low? Okay, we will see with respect to this particular input and output waveform analysis. See here in this particular concept of schematic trigger. See, at the first instant, from output voltage waveform is increasing from 0 to 1. Input voltage waveform is increasing from 0 to 1. Okay, what happened? Okay, the behavior of input voltage is less than upper threshold voltage. This red dotted line, see, this red dotted line in the positive scale is nothing but our upper threshold voltage, and this is one of our reference. And this red dotted line in the lower threshold voltage, see, and in the negative axis of the input waveform, that is our lower threshold voltage. Okay, so if the input voltage is increasing from 0 volts and it is not yet reached the upper threshold voltage, that means at this instant from 0 to 1, see, from 0 to 1 the input voltage is less than upper threshold voltage. At that condition output is high, and that is VSAT. Vset. Okay, so next later what happened, the input voltage is greater than upper threshold voltage. Input voltage is greater than upper threshold voltage. At that condition, that is our second condition, the output is low or minus Vset. First condition is input voltage is less than upper threshold voltage, output is plus Vset. Okay, second condition, input voltage is greater than upper threshold voltage. We have maximum voltage peak, that's why the voltage is minus Vset. Okay, so but what actually happens after this condition? See, after this instant, okay, the input voltage dropped with respect to lower threshold voltage. Sorry, input voltage dropped with respect to upper threshold voltage. Dropped with respect to upper threshold voltage. But even though here we have negative Vset, that means from the instant 1 to instant 2, until the input voltage meets the new threshold voltage, okay, the behavior of output voltage is always low. See, from this instant, okay, after this instant, input voltage is greater than upper threshold voltage, that's why the output is low. Okay, and it reaches towards a positive peak, the output voltage is low. Okay, but after this instant, after this intersection, okay, again the input voltage is dropping with respect to the upper threshold voltage. Here at this instant, the input voltage is less than upper threshold voltage. But what actually happened from the instant 1, from this instant to this instant, from this instant to this instant, see, from this instant to this instant, the entire output voltage is minus Vset. Entire output voltage is minus Vset. Stick to that point. This is very important. We will discuss why this happened. Okay. Similarly, after the input voltage reached with respect to the lower threshold value, okay, there is a change. Okay, input voltage is here input voltage is greater than lower threshold voltage. Input voltage is here. Input voltage is having complete negative V peak. Input voltage is greater than lower threshold voltage. That's why here we have positive Vset. And again, see here, the input voltage keep on increasing, and it is reaching towards 0. And after this instant, from this instant to this instant, see, the input voltage is less than a lower threshold voltage, but the scenario you haven't changed. Continuously the output is high, that is plus Vset. That means from instant 2 to instant 3, from instant 2 to instant 3, the behavior of output voltage is plus Vset high. Okay, that means even though the input voltage changes with respect to the upper threshold voltage and lower threshold voltage after a specific instant of time, the output remains same with respect to the previous time instants. Okay, so that's we have to discuss. That is an elaborated discussion that we will discuss that in a next slot. So this is the behavior with respect to the behavior of input voltage with respect to the output voltage with respect to inverting Smith trigger when compared with respect to upper threshold voltage and lower threshold voltage of two reference points. Okay, so in the morning session, many people raised the doubts with respect to the discussion of voltage limiter. So how does the voltage limiter is going to conduct and all. So if you have any doubts in today's session, just post them in the chat box. Some people raised a doubt session regarding to the morning session, that is voltage limiter with the two Zener diode application. Voltage limiter with two Zener diode application. See, this is our operational amplifier. Here we have two diodes, D1 and D2. This is the Zener diode D1 and this is the Zener diode D2. So, and at the voltage limiter, with respect to the application of voltage limiter, a voltage limiter is a device whose output voltage has to be independent of input voltage. See, at the first condition, okay, D1 diode input voltage will flow through this terminal, okay, and the reference voltage is 0 here. So if the V2 terminal is 0, with respect to the basic of operational amplifier negative feedback principle, virtual earth point will also be 0. So what will happen, input voltage will flow through this particular path, and it will flow through the diode D1 and diode D1, and next the input voltage flowing through the diode D1 is VD1. Okay, at that condition what will happen, T2 will go through avalanche breakdown, very high amount of negative currents will start flowing through the avalanche breakdown, and that causes the creation of negative V saturation here. Because of the avalanche there creates a negative saturation voltage here. Because of the avalanche there creates a negative saturation voltage here. Okay, so that happens here. Okay, and after, during the positive peak, after the positive peak, the input voltage will go with respect to the negative peak. At that condition what will happen means, input voltage will flow. This is the second condition. See the second figure. At this condition, the input voltage flows with respect to the diode D1. Input voltage flow through the diode D1. Okay, and next D2 is forward biased. The voltage flowing through the diode D2 is VD2. Voltage flow through the diode VD2, and D1 is nothing but having an avalanche breakdown. Okay, that's why the voltage across is Vz. Okay, the voltage flown with respect to the first condition, voltage flown is with respect to VD2. Okay, so that's why that is Vz plus VD2, 0.7 volts of operating voltage flowing through the positive peak and negative peak, with respect to the positive peak and negative peak. See here, there is a swing with respect to the output voltage. Output voltage is swinging from minus of Vz plus 0.7 volts to Vz plus 0.7 volts. Okay, there is a behavior of swing in the output voltage. So this behavior of swing in the output voltage has to be eliminated. That's why, in order to restrict the device, either it may be a positive output voltage limiter or it has to be limit with respect to a negative output voltage limiter. Next we proposed a next concept, that is voltage limiter with respect to the operational amplifier with single Zener diode when under application of a diode. So this is the voltage limiter with respect to the comparator of a single Zener diode, and an additional, with respect to single Zener diode, we are connecting an additional diode here. Okay, so first condition what happens means, the input voltage will flow through the input resistance. Okay, and next it will pass through the diode. Okay, what I did means, at that condition what I did means, I experience, we have to limit the positive output voltage. We have to limit the voltage swing, and that too we have to limit the positive output voltage. This has to be done. What I did means, at that condition, so this diode D2, the diode D2 is operated in a reverse bias condition. Okay, and this is forward biased, and diode D1 is forward biased, and diode D1 is forward biased. So what happened here, the diode D1 is forward biased and diode D2 is reverse biased. So with respect to the positive input voltage, the behavior of voltage limiter has to create an opposite direction with respect to the input voltage. That means the output is independent of input, or the output is inverse of input. The input is positive here and the output is negative Vsat here. Okay, that is experienced here. And next, our objective is satisfied at the second instant. What we have to do here, we have to limit the positive output voltage. At the condition of positive output voltage, a avalanche breakdown is happened with respect to the diode 1. Okay, that avalanche breakdown voltage is Vz. Okay, and the diode is forward biased, and the voltage is flown with respect to diode, and avalanche breakdown voltage, that is Vz plus Vd2. That's why, okay, because of the avalanche breakdown condition, even though the diode is conducting in positive dimension, the output voltage is limited here. Okay, here we have used the voltage limiter in the application of positive output voltage limiter. Positive output voltage is limited here. Okay, we can also limit the negative voltage. Okay, here the positive voltage is limited. We can also limit the negative voltage by changing the directions of rectifier diode and Zener diode. If we place the diode in the place of Zener diode, and if we change the Zener diode place with respect to rectifier diode, if we swap the two components, if we swap the two components, D1 with respect to D2 and D2 with respect to D1, at that condition we can achieve, okay, at that condition we can achieve negative voltage limit. Negative voltage will be limited. Okay, so the negative voltage swing will be limited. Okay, so in the third application in the morning we discussed about is a voltage limiter application with a single Zener diode. Single Zener diode. So previously it is forward biased. Previously it is forward biased and output voltage is positive, and the behavior of output voltage is negative here. Okay, and later it is reverse. Later it is avalanche breakdown is happened. With respect to the avalanche breakdown, the behavior of input voltage is negative here. The behavior of input voltage is negative peak here. That's why here we can see an avalanche breakdown Vz with respect to a positive peak. So here the negative voltage is limited. So here in the application of Zener diode with the rectifier diode, positive voltage is limited. Here in the application of Zener diode with respect to single application of Zener diode, negative voltage is limited. Negative voltage is limited. So this is the discussion we discussed in the morning. This is the discussion we discussed in the morning. So in this session, in this present session, we discussed about the concept of latching. The concept of latching. What we analyzed latching means there is an latching flip-flop or a latching pin which is connected with respect to latching flip-flop. This latching pin will send a signal to freeze the output at a particular instant of time. That means the output state, whatever it may be the output state, either it may be a positive reset or it may be a negative reset, the output is freezed up to an instant of time with respect to a latching flip-flop or with respect to a latching pin. So next we discussed about various limitations on how the comparator has to be operated. The comparator should have good accuracy. The comparator should have high CMRR. The gain should be high, and the output currents, output offset currents, and input offset currents and input currents has to be less. Okay, and the response time has to be minimum. Okay, these are all the limitations we discussed about, and we analyzed the behavior of output voltage with respect to ideal comparator and practical comparator, and we have seen what are the effects of this particular transition drift. Okay, we seen the upper threshold voltages or upper operating frequencies, like high frequencies are one of the impact, and slew rate is one of the impact. Okay, that can be eliminated by using a compensating capacitor. On-chip capacitor is known as compensating capacitor. We have seen what is the difference between a compensating capacitor and a uncompensating device. Okay, we have seen the behavior of slew rate in frequency compensated integrated circuit and uncompensated integrated circuit. And next we have seen how to make the comparator quite compatible. Okay, and next we analyzed the voltage limiter with various applications. Okay, and we limited the voltage swing. And next we just gone through the introduction of the schematic trigger. We just analyzed the behavior of inverting schematic trigger with input configuration. We analyzed the input configuration, and we also analyzed the behavior of input voltage with respect to the output voltage at upper threshold frequency and lower threshold frequency.